Predator Killer of Killers proves that the franchise works best when you take the Predator and just put him into an already ongoing action or thriller story and letting the mayhem ensue. This is a great film and a great addition to the franchise. So tonight in movie reviews, I'm talking Predator Killer of Killers. Stay tuned. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the show. Tonight, like I said, we are talking Predator Killer of Killers. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button no matter where you are watching. Got a lot of great horror content back on the channel and a lot of great stuff coming up, including Megan 2.0, I Know What You Did Last Summer, and Dexter Resurrection. Do not miss that. Hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button. But let's not waste any time. Let's jump right on into things here. If you haven't seen the trailer for Predator Killer of Killers before, this is an animated anthology story that follows the galaxy's greatest hunter across 3 different time periods, as a number of us finally get what we've been wanting to see for the longest time, and seeing the Predator take on Vikings, samurai and ninjas, and even the soldiers of World War II. And there it is, folks. That is Predator Killer of Killers. Now, here's the thing. The Predator franchise has been largely uneven across the years when it comes to the quality of each film. I think the grand majority of people out there would all say that the first one is fantastic and happens to be one of the greatest action films of all time. It has a stacked cast. It is so good. But after that first film, your mileage may definitely vary. I'm a huge fan of Predator 2. I did a review for it for a few years back, and I even said it is my favorite in the franchise. I still hold to that because I still remember seeing Predator 2 as a kid and having nightmares about the Predator roaming the streets of LA and ripping out spines and killing Bill Paxton. It still freaks me out. But I love that film. It is my favorite there. But I can understand that with each subsequent entry, folks felt they were moving further and further away from what they enjoyed about this franchise. Now, what's interesting, back in 2022, Dan Trachtenberg, who is the director of this film, Killer of Killers, brought us what has been the best received Predator film since the original with Prey. That movie focused on a Comanche tribe that unfortunately has a predator show up and throw everything in disarray, as the young Naru seeks to show her own place in her tribe, and seeks to do that by killing this monster that has shown up. What worked so well about Prey was that it took the idea that everybody has seemingly started to figure out that works so well about these movies. Don't make a film that actually centers around the Predator themselves, because while these are interesting characters, they're interesting beings, and I'm sure somebody out there can crack the code to actually give us more interesting facts about it, which does seem to be Dan Trachtenberg here. But it just hasn't been an interesting story so far. So instead, if you give us a really good action layout, if you give us a good thriller plot and just throw the Predator in there, it all works out. And that story in Prey of, again, Naru trying to find her place in her tribe, she wants to take this super active role of being a warrior, being on the front lines for the Comanche and not being taken seriously. And it's pretty much like a coming of age story of her having to prove that she can take on this responsibility and lead her tribe. Without the Predator in there, that's already a terrific story for us to use. And then, of course, Predator shows up and everything gets thrown out of whack. That kind of explains the issues that pop up with the third film, Predators, and the fourth film, The Predator. Both of those movies are very much centered around the Predator themselves. We're going to take the world's deadliest assassins and people and put them on a game planet for the Predators to hunt them. Or the Predators coming to Earth to collect DNA from certain humans. There are bits and pieces about both of those films that I do enjoy. I do largely enjoy Predators. But again, there's bits and pieces from both of those that I think a lot of people out there really like. But as a whole, it seemingly gets lost in the plot of doing more for the Predator than anything else. And that's what works so well about the first 2 films and about Prey, was that the Predator was just an addition to that story. We already had a great story going on in that. Trachtenberg very much seems to understand that here, and so he actually gives us what a lot of people have been asking for years here in this anthology. Folks have been saying forever, it would be so cool to see a Predator fight a samurai. It would be so cool to see a Predator fight a ninja, to fight a Viking. Like, there's all these different matchups out there that people have made with the Predator because it's the world's greatest hunter. So put the world's greatest hunter against the world's greatest warriors. Let's see what would end up happening in that case. And that works so great here. Now, again, this is an anthology film. We got 3 different segments in here outside of the wraparound story. And it splits up into The Shield, which follows a group of Vikings that are seeking revenge for atrocities that were committed against them. And then, of course, the Predator shows up, and we have to see who out of that tribe is going to be the one that stays alive. We have The Sword, that follows a pair of brothers back in 1600 Japan, who in the midst of their own battle have a Predator show up so he can claim his own prize between the brothers. We have The Bullet, set during World War II, where a mechanic seeks to save his squadron, where a Predator shows up and begins to shoot down the squad mates of this mechanic. 3 very distinctively different time periods that actually allow us to see different challenges, not just for the Predator, but for the humans as well. Thus far, across all the films we've had, with the exception of Prey, we have seen that the humans have been vastly overpowered, right? They all have guns, they have rocket launchers, grenade launchers, whatever it takes, they have what they need to take the Predator on. But putting the Predator in these 3 distinctive periods and giving us 3 very distinctively different Predators allows for us each to get a little bit of what we probably want here out of this franchise. We get to see in some of these stories here that these characters are great warriors who are very well equipped to go against the Predator themselves. Whether that Predator is bigger, whether it has better weapons, whatever the case is, these are the best of the best that we're seeing here, and they're actually doing a good job standing their ground against them. Now, they don't walk off unscathed. Most of these folks are taking hits or taking damage of some kind, but it's a very thrilling experience to watch these 3 different periods show us different heroes who are trying their best to do against it. And the one that actually stood out the most for me, weirdly enough, was The Bullet. Because what we've seen thus far across all these Predator films, and even Alien vs. Predator, is that it's mostly a ground game. Get the Predator out there in the actual field themselves, and you're likely not going to stand a chance against them. They have all the weaponry in the world, they know the layout, like all these things that put them at a huge advantage over their adversaries. And in this World War II one, The Bullet, it's all about an actual dogfight instead. Something that we have not seen before featured here in anything that has a Predator in it. So I thought that gave us something distinctively new that I think a lot of us probably didn't realize we would actually enjoy getting to see here. And I very much appreciate Trachtenberg wanting to show off a different side of that. He talked about here with this film that one of the things that was kind of annoying to him is that there's no difference in the looks of the Predators themselves, and that if this is just this gigantic species, there's going to be a bit more differences between them all. They're not all going to be very uniform, and you can see that here in this film as each different period presents us a very different Predator in it. Now, with all of this here, we have to understand that Trachtenberg is very much creating a great universe here for us. With Prey a couple years ago, Killer of Killers now, and then Predator Badlands releasing later this year, that's 3 films in the span of 3 years we're getting to really continue on this story. I love that he is committed to getting this franchise fully fleshed out, because there's a lot of rumors right now that by the end of the year, we're probably going to be hearing about another Alien versus Predator film of some kind getting out there. And Killer of Killers does have another subtle indication, Predator 2 style, that we might be heading back that way. It's like this film, Badlands, with having an android from Weyland-Yutani being one of the main characters. Like, there's so much hinting that that's the way that we're going. But honestly, I think that's so cool of the fact that Predator has become a bit more relevant again, and it's not really dependent on that matchup with the Alien, that it actually works very separately and not having to combine those 2 worlds together. Now, for the film itself, it is animated, and I know that a lot of people who are old head fans of the Predator franchise might not get down with that because they just want the live action stuff. But y'all, what I can tell you is that we're not skipping out on any of the things that made what you enjoyed about those other films really, really good here. There's fantastic voice acting. There is no lack of blood and gore here or violence at all. We get some fantastic fight scenes in this one. Everything that you want in your Predator films is still very much at play here in Killer of Killers. It's just done in an animated form. And speaking of cast, I thought it was fun because this is actually only the second time that we've had a cast member from a previous film show up in another Predator movie. And granted, they are not playing the same cast member. Louis Ozawa, who played Hanzo in the third Predator film, Predators, you might remember he was the Yakuza hitman who ended up taking the Predator on with the samurai sword and ended up taking him out, but he got killed as well too. He actually plays the pair of brothers in The Sword, which is so cool. Again, to get that connection back to the Predator film, because we don't see that. You know, there was this whole idea for a while that Arnold Schwarzenegger needed to come back and show up in a number of these films. And if you go back and look into them, there have been a number of times where it came danger close to end up happening, and he didn't ultimately do it. And honestly, with us getting this animated film, I think that was the right choice, because this film very much implies that the Predator is capturing and collecting all the people who end up winning their fight as well too. Because spoiler alert, tune out if you don't want to hear this, Naru, our survivor from Prey, shows up at the end of this film stuck on the Predator ship in stasis. And granted, it's an implication I'm taking for myself. That seems to imply that we could see Dutch Schaefer show up in one of those. We could see Harrigan show up, Danny Glover's character from the second film. We could see Adrian Brody show up from the third film. Who knows? There's a lot of possibilities with it. But honestly, it now works out even better that we haven't had people coming back into this franchise, because now we don't have to worry about the fact that some of these people might be too old to show up again in a live action film. While it's not a perfect film, it could have been a little bit longer. I would have liked a little bit more out of each segment, I think. The tight runtime, honestly, doesn't give you a chance to really start disliking a lot of the story elements that we get within it. This is a really good way to further this franchise out and not deal with the highs and lows that we've had over the last 15 years with each additional film. Predator Killer of Killers gets a 4 out of 5. Pretty damn good, honestly, for this franchise. Folks, don't forget to get subscribed to my channel at linktr.ee/tscarymovie. If you get subscribed, that's going to be access to the YouTube page for the video versions of the show, your favorite podcasting platforms for the audio-only versions of the show, my Letterboxd page for written reviews and movie rankings through the year, my TikTok page for short horror content including movie news, movie premieres, and movie reviews, my Twitch page for horror gaming, and my Fangoria shop page for a 20% discount off anything in the Fangoria shop. Take advantage of that, y'all. Hit that subscribe button. Again, got so much great horror content coming up for y'all here very soon. Don't want you to miss any of that at all. But that's going to do it for me here tonight, folks. My name is T. We've been talking scary movies. Stay scared.